Hi, and good morning. I'm glad that you all got a chance to get here today, and I'm really excited to talk to you about how you can talk yourself down from negative feeling thoughts and feelings. I'm Patty Jackson, and I'm the founder of Clear Inner Focus, and I provide one-on-one coaching and curriculum that helps people to learn strategies on how to free your mind, make great decisions, and move forward effectively. What I know to be true is there's a lot of good books, a lot of religions, a lot of good teachers that tell you just let go, just forgive. But how do you do it? And that's where I come in. It's my passion. It is my greatest gift to be able to work with people and give them strategies on how to do the things that you're about to learn right here, right now. I've worked with clients one-on-one, and I've taught personal leadership master's class. I've trained coaches in how to do just this. In human nature, we understand that sometimes we can get ourselves worked up, and we keep working ourselves up and think about thoughts, and then you go into those thoughts and wow, and then you're all worked up, and what do you do next? So what I want to do today is to help you learn a strategy, a 7-step strategy that's going to help you go from getting worked up to being clear, freeing your mind, knowing exactly what you want, and getting calm. Because from that calmness, you're able to move forward in such a better way. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to look at what's going on inside you. There's so many things going on inside you besides your biology. And then we're going to talk about how they work together. And then we're going to talk about the 7-step strategy. It's a technique with a tool that I have that goes through actually 7 really simple steps that shows you how you can get yourself from repeated experiences where you can find yourself being happy and all of a sudden getting distracted by a thought that just snags you and makes that life in front of you not even very fun because you're lost in this thought and these feelings inside. So you can disassemble that thought pattern and build a new one that's going to help you do just what I said. Free your mind, make really good decisions, and then move forward effectively so that you can enjoy your life. But a natural byproduct of being able to do this is you naturally influence other people along the way too. So we will cover those things during this time today. So today, here we are, and what we're going to be doing is looking at how to actually do these things. Welcome to the call. Thanks for being here. I do hear your microphone on, and on the bottom of Zoom, what you can do is see the microphone there and click the mute. And if you get a chance to talk and want to contribute at any point in time, just unmute your microphone. There are many people who have asked to be a part of this by me recording this and sending it to them. And this will be something that will be available for anybody who signed up for this webinar. So what's going on inside us? What we have going on inside us besides our biology, which I'm not going to address, is a lot of other things. We've got thoughts going on inside us, and we have feelings. We have breath. Our breath is actually going on inside us. We have responses to our thoughts, our feelings, and even our breath that are automatically going on inside us, whether you're aware of it or not. And my hope today is to bring a greater awareness to these things, because once you're aware, you've kicked in that first step to positive change. The second part of that first step is to become aware and just accept this is normal human stuff. So many times these things have been going on inside us and we're not even aware of it. When you become aware of it and accept it, you're well on your way to being able to let go of all those thoughts and feelings that take you away from enjoying your life today. So we have our thoughts, we have feelings, we have our breath, and then we have responses to our thoughts. We have responses to our feelings. We have memories going on inside us. Some of them are happy memories. Some of them are memories that actually trigger us and make us feel negative emotions. How do you talk yourself down from those negative feeling emotions? And inside you, you have an imagination. You have unique desires and you have unique personality strengths, all going on inside you. So how do they work together? Well, when I have a thought, I have a thought that is like, I am Patty Jackson, and I want to be able to talk to a lot of people and share this tool with them. These are thoughts that are in line with my heart and soul's desires. They give me motivation. They make me feel great. Well, when I first had these thoughts, there's also a whole pattern of thoughts that go on with it. I'm Patty Jackson. I want to share these tools. I don't know how to do it. I don't have the resources. I don't understand how to work Zoom. There's a lot of I don't know, I don't have thoughts that come with it. And these are going to cause heavy feelings. Your thoughts are what cause your feelings. And you cannot control your feelings, nor should you, but you can navigate your thoughts. So we're just going to plant that little seed right there as I continue to share what we have here. So our thoughts are causing our feelings. Here I am Patty Jackson. I am excited to be able to share this tool with other people. I worked through the things that I don't know. I spent the time being able to do that, to learn the Zoom, to learn how to do these things so that I can present this. And thus is the journey of life. So how our thoughts and feelings work together is we have a thought, and if it's a flow thought, if it's an I am, I can, I know, I have, I want, and magical what if thoughts, they're going to feel good. We have a thought about moving forward effectively, and then we will have thought patterns, a lot of I don't have thoughts, a lot of I don't know, and I can't thoughts. And they're normal. You're supposed to have them because they're true. But what you need to do is talk yourself through those thoughts. I don't, but I can. I can't, but I will. And when you continue to talk yourself through those, you get yourself in what I call the dynamic in and out of flow pattern. But so many times we don't have the time to do that, and we don't take the steps we need to take to move forward effectively. And then what happens is this. We have these thoughts from our heart and soul's desires. They come because we care. I want this and I can't. And instead of steering ourselves back down and slowing down and taking steps, we get to the I can't and then the oh no, what if? And then what if I can't there? Our thoughts are like magnets. And you can talk yourself up and focus yourself into these negative feeling thoughts, and they can take on a life of their own. And suddenly we develop inside habits of thinking thoughts and going into the ones that feel bad. Then we're thinking negative thoughts and we're feeling negative feelings, and we get ourselves so far there that it's almost impossible to take all those thoughts and the patterns of thoughts and bring that back down to your heart and soul's desires so you can even begin to clearly think, what's one step I can do to move forward? So the strategy to do this is to first of all understand that the habits that you have inside of you, the habits of responding, have been put in place from long ago. They're nobody's fault, and they're there because you care. If you have a habit of getting yourself worked up and getting into disempowering thoughts that cause negative feelings, it's because there's something deep within you that you truly care about, and you just didn't understand these strategies that you're going to learn more about today. There are 4 things inside of you that you can control, and the rest of it you can't. And when you practice powerfully controlling these 4 things, you'll learn to be able to trust and let go of the things that you can't. It takes time. And right now, you have the time. You're listening and you are learning a little bit more. So what I'd like to do is just give you a little bit more time and powerfully take care of that first thing that you can control, and that is your breath. So if you will, take yourself from thinking and give yourself just a minute to take a nice deep breath. And let yourself become aware of what's happening inside you right now. What we're going to do is shine a spotlight a little bit more on what's happening inside. And know that whatever's going on is normal human stuff. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're feeling, whatever memories you have, whatever you're doing with your imagination. Are you imagining scary what if things? Oh no, what if I start to feel anxiety and I have an anxiety attack? Or magical things. What if I feel anxiety and from this webinar, I'm going to learn a strategy that I can start to talk myself down so I have a better habit of responding to my anxiety. And over time, I learn how to feel anxiety and be okay with it. The 4 things you can control are your breath. And you've already taken a little deep breath here. So just take another deep breath, if you will. This is something you can control. Sometimes your breath gets really deep because you've been exercising and you can't completely control it, but there is a semblance of a range of control that you have on your breath. And when we start to feel negative feelings and think negative thoughts, what we naturally do is start to slow our breath down, which shrinks our energy field and makes it a lot harder to do the skills that you're about to learn. So right now, if you will, let's just practice a little bit more about breathing and noticing how you can control your breath to some extent. The second thing you can control is your focus. We'll talk more about that in a minute. The third thing that you can control is your imagination. I talked a little bit about that already. Am I imagining a scary what if? Or can I start to imagine a magical what if? And the fourth thing that you can control is your response to things. You cannot control a reaction to something, but you can control your response. So with this, I'm going to break this down a little bit more. We're going to go back to the first thing you can control, your breath. And so if you will, just take another nice deep breath. The way that you powerfully control your breath so you can learn to talk yourself down from negative thoughts and negative feelings is to take a nice deep breath and use your breath to separate from things going on outside of you and bring your awareness to things going on inside of you. And when you breathe, it slows down those things inside. Just consciously breathing and taking some nice deep breaths. It's important to breathe and use the response of acceptance. I'm going to choose to accept everything going on inside me. Even if I have negative feelings going on, and even if I have negative thoughts going on, I'm going to accept them for now because my response is something I can control. When you respond to your thoughts and your feelings with acceptance, you will start to powerfully talk yourself down and tap into your true power, that power within you, that power where you get to move forward effectively. There's a belief that if I get really busy and I get going and I get going and I get going, that's where I am powerful because I can see myself make a difference and I can check boxes and say, man, I got something done. But at the end of the day, that habit of moving forward in a busy, frantic way from our negative feelings and our negative thoughts, our scary, oh no, what if, puts us in a frantic state of being. And that frantic state of being can take on momentum and a life of its own. And so if you're noticing negative feeling thoughts and feelings, it's really important to be able to take your breath and slow down and use your response powerfully and start to think about, wow, what if I could learn to respond powerfully to my breath and use my breath and control my breath to slow down and become powerfully effective. Where not only am I getting things done, but I'm getting things done powerfully and creating sustainable change. Where I'm slowing down and I'm getting things done and I'm actually influencing other people. I'm eliciting their support and help so I can powerfully be me and effectively work with other people and influence them and bring out the best in them. This is how you powerfully control your breath. The second thing that you can powerfully control is your focus. And when I use my breath to take my focus off of things outside of myself and bring my focus in here, and I focus on things that are going on inside of me with acceptance, I've really been able to slow down those negative thoughts and feelings, slowing them down and connecting with my personal power and with my ability to really be effective, with my strength and my ability to make a difference in the world. So by taking my focus off of problems outside of me and getting here and connecting with my heart and asking my heart, what solution would I like to see? What am I learning? And what's right with me and what's right with this situation? You can slow down the automatic drive of going into overdrive and activating all those thoughts and feelings that make it really hard to sleep at the end of the day, that make it really hard to be patient and hear your loved ones, that make it really hard to feel fulfilled and make sustainable change. So you can powerfully control your focus by focusing on things that are working, by focusing on what you want in solutions, or by focusing on the things that you want in front of you. Whenever you feel a negative feeling, take a deep breath. Notice what's going on and change your focus to asking yourself, what solution would I like to see? As you begin to notice negative thoughts and feelings, take a deep breath and bring your focus back to your heart, back to your soul's desires. You'll be able to start talking yourself down to that feeling where you're grounded within yourself and your ability to make powerful new steps forward. So breathe, if you will, and just imagine, what if you could do that? What if you could give yourself the time and notice the growth and the journey and had fun along the way? That activates the next thing that you can control, and that's your imagination. We're actually imagining all the time. Our thoughts are not our imagination. Our thoughts are those things that we think about. But our imagination is that thing inside where you start to really focus on a thought and think, what if? Are you thinking scary what ifs, or are you thinking magical what ifs? As soon as you become aware and respond to what you're doing with acceptance and love for yourself, you can steer your focus from scary what ifs to, wait a minute, what would I like to see? What if I could do this? Now that's pie in the sky stuff a little bit, because if you just sit there with your imagination and the wonderful, wonderful what ifs, the magical what ifs, you're not going to make things happen in the world. But if you use your imagination to get really clear on what you want, and then ask yourself, what is one step I can take? What is one response I can take in response to the problem outside of me? You'll be moving forward incredibly effectively. You will have talked yourself down to your heart and soul's desires, and you'll be able to take powerful steps forward. You'll be able to activate your confidence. You'll be able to get into your motivation, and you'll start to change the habit of thinking scary thoughts, going up into them, and getting caught up in that loop of negative thoughts and feelings. They usually start right here, but when I focus on them, I can actually bring them in so close to me that I feel them in my body. My breath gets shallow, they get tight, and it makes it really hard to connect with my wisdom, to connect with solutions. And it makes it really hard to be able to respond to other people in an open way. In fact, when I get myself worked up, it gets me so that someone comes along and it could be them giving me the very thing that I've been wanting, and I can't see it because I'm so stuck in those heavy emotions, and I get reactive. And I react to them, and I don't like reacting to them. So then I add more heavy feeling thoughts. Oh no, I shouldn't have. I can't, I'm not, I shouldn't have, I don't want. More heavy feelings come on, and the pattern just continues. So these are the ideas of what you can do. This is what we're going to use to be able to talk yourself down. whenever you're feeling negative feeling thoughts and feelings. I said inside of ourselves, inside of each of us, we have thoughts, we have feelings, we have our breath, we have responses, we have memories, and we have imagination. And we have habits. We have habits of what we're doing with the 4 things we can control. And we have habits of thoughts. So a lot of times, the reasons why we're here, feeling really negative thoughts and feelings and getting into action and trying to get them to change, is because that pattern of thoughts have a bunch of feelings and it locks that pattern of thoughts in place. And so the tool I'm going to give you, I call the Clear Inner Focus tool. And it helps you take that pattern of thought that's filled with heavy feelings and filled with out of flow, negative, I don't want, I can't, oh no, what if thoughts, and disassembles them. What you do with that habit of thoughts is you're going to use your breath to be able to notice and feel those feelings. Your feelings are your emotional energy. And emotional energy is like all energies. All energy has 4 properties. Energy comes in kinetic energy or potential energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of movement. It's like your gasoline in your tank. Kinetic energy is what's taking that gasoline and transforming it into the movement forward. Your heavy feelings, anxiety, stress, sadness, any heavy feeling that is uncomfortable is like gasoline in your tank. It's filled with thoughts, habits of thoughts that you can transform into a clear inner focused pattern of thoughts that are in line with your heart and soul's desires. So when you look at this pattern of thoughts, what we're going to do is just look at them, shine a light on them, and feel the feelings that are there. They don't feel good, and that's okay. Bad feelings can pass through you if you let yourself feel them. Unfortunately, we often have patterns and habits of responses to them that either has us going into them, focusing on them, activating them, and getting the momentum of those heavy feeling thoughts going. Or we have a habit of responding to them where we stuff them, or we have a habit of response to them, which is another thing that all energy can do. Like all energy, it comes in kinetic or potential. All energy cannot be created nor destroyed, the second property, but it can be transferred from one object to another. So when you're feeling negative feeling thoughts and negative feeling feelings, it truly is possible to take those feelings and transfer them, to take them out on someone else. It's common to try to get rid of these negative feelings and disassemble these thoughts by blaming them on somebody else. And eventually you can actually take them off on someone else and dispel them. You'll feel a little better. But those feelings and those thoughts, that emotional energy is something that will actually help you get motivated, get grounded, and move forward effectively. The 4th property of energy is can't be created nor destroyed, but it can be transformed. So what we're going to do here is look at this thought pattern, accept these emotions, even if they're not going to feel good, and let your biology start to feel these emotions. Let them move through you so they can transform. They're like a heavy rain cloud that when you breathe and you accept them, and you look at them, they will move through you like rain moves through you, rains down so new things can grow up from you. So you can start to get clear on your heart and soul's desires. You can start to listen to those things within and get a clear focus of where you really want to go and your authentic way of getting there. So I call the technique of doing this the clear inner focus technique. And what I'd like to do is give you an example of how I did it on the fly and how it worked for me in the moment where I was completely worked up. And then I'm going to give you a 7-step process so that you can do it before the event. You might have some certain things that are going on, certain thought patterns that every time you think there, you start to feel bad and you can get worked up and go into it. And so that's where the Clear Inner Focus tool really comes in handy. So I will show you how I use the tool even for when I got myself worked up in a manner of just getting paralyzed with feeling stuck. It works with any kind of heavy feelings that you have. So sometimes we will get worked up when we go into those thoughts and they start spinning and they go around and around. And sometimes we're not even aware that we're doing it, and all of a sudden you can just feel the heavy weight and you get stuck and you can't feel motivated. But you can feel that heavy potential energy that you really want to turn into that kinetic energy of forward movement. So the first time I did this, I had all 4 kids getting on the school bus one day, and I really wanted to teach them how to get on the bus by themselves and be independent, and it wasn't working. The twins were probably 5 years old, and their oldest brother would have been like 9, and the other one 8 at that time. And I was completely not aware. I wasn't aware of what I was thinking, what I was feeling. But I do know one thing. I was getting worked up, and I wasn't even conscious of it until it happened. The 2 boys were at the table, and they were fighting. And I got this flash of, oh my God, I'm going to slam their heads together. I was so hot and enraged because I wasn't used to even becoming aware of my energy and that I was getting worked up. So I did the technique. I took a nice deep breath. I took my attention off of them and I looked in here and I said, what am I thinking? And I heard the voice. It was almost screaming in my head, I don't want the kids to fight. And I looked at that thought. I was like, it's not even true. And then I said, what am I feeling? Scientifically, it's been proven if you name the feeling, it tames it. So I checked in, what is this feeling? And it was like frustration. So when I kept breathing and staying with that feeling of frustration, it got worse. It felt like a big inside storm. It got really big and it moved through my body. But I let myself be safe feeling that because I was breathing. I wasn't going to judge myself. I wasn't going to try to encapsulate that energy, and I wasn't going to take it out on my kids. Not this time. So I continued to breathe and I named the feeling, and it was frustration, and it felt like this emotional energy was an alien moving through my body. It was prickly. It was intense. It didn't feel good. It felt like I was birthing something. And soon after I just took a couple breaths with that, it dissipated. Then I did the next step and I asked myself, what is it that I want? And I listened to my heart for a second, and just as fast as that picture of me like wanting to slam their heads together, which I wouldn't have done, a picture came and I saw myself with my mind's eye, with my imagination, standing at the front window watching all 4 of my kids get on the bus. The thing that really mattered to me was that I was a good mom, and I wasn't focused on that. I was focused on getting it done. I was focused on getting him on the bus. I was focused on, oh no, what if they don't get on the bus? Oh no, what if he can't find his sock? Oh no, what if I should have? I was so worked up and unaware of it. And all I needed to do was those simple things. Take a nice deep breath, become aware of what I'm thinking, and not judge it, but just accept it. Respond to it with acceptance. And then become aware of what I was feeling and respond to it with acceptance. And then ask myself and ask my heart and talk myself down into my heart's desires and talk myself down into being able to now hear my soul's desires. What is it that really matters to me? So there was that picture of me standing there getting the kids on the bus. And this all happened within the course of about maybe 20 seconds. And then the last step, now that I was really clear on what I wanted, I could imagine it happening. It felt like a 3D picture. I could see it. I could feel it. I knew it. I could almost touch it within me. I asked myself what's one step I could take. And I was still so focused inside that I wasn't even aware of anything. And the step I knew I could take was now finally I was going to be grounded in myself and I was going to move forward effectively. And I knew, my heart told me, what you can do is just walk over to them and say, okay, now it's time to just leave the breakfast table and get your shoes on. And I would have done it firmly, but I wouldn't have blown up at them because I had transformed my heavy emotional energy into motivation, certainty, clarity, and confidence. But the great thing about this is simply by transforming my energy and getting clear on what I could do, by the time I looked out at the boys, they had stopped fighting. Our emotional energy is contagious. I believe the franticness that I was getting myself worked up into was actually helping everyone in the house be a little more frantic. And simply by shifting, it helped them not. It helped them calm down. Now, sometimes kids fight, and it's not my fault at all, and it has nothing to do with my energy, but in this case, it was pretty clear. So I got to do it. I got them on the bus. I stood at that front window, and I watched my 4 kids get on the bus, and I was so happy. So that's the technique to talk yourself down. Sometimes you can do it in the moment, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're not aware that you're getting worked up, and you get reactive. But you can still control those 4 things that you can control. The most important thing you do when you have a reaction, which you can't control. It happens so fast, it's a habit, boom, you blow up at someone, you react to them. Important thing to do is the same thing you do every time, is take a nice deep breath and respond to yourself with love and acceptance. And if you don't have time to deal with it right then and there, it's a great time to get to the Clear Inner Focus tool. So next I'm going to show you how I use the tool when I was stuck and I couldn't get my book done. And then when I'm done with that, when you're done looking at that, I will also share with you a link of a PDF with the Clear Inner Focus chart that has fillable fields. You can go onto my website, www.clearinnerfocus.com, and sign up for the free tool where I'll actually walk you through it. So when you're doing the tool, you'll have my voice reminding you to take some nice deep breaths, bring acceptance to what you see there, and walk you through the steps. The tool is so simple, but it's not always easy at first. But you're here, you're listening, start. You'll start to feel the relief. You'll start to change those neural pathways of I'm feeling stress and I'm not going to go into it, but I'm just going to soften it. I'm going to start to look at what it is, and I'm going to start to talk myself down to the solution that I feel inside. After I give you the example of how I did it with my book and I was stuck with my book, there'll be a little clip at the end that shows you how you can practice these things more through the book, or through an online class, or through group coaching, or even how you can do this and then empower other people by teaching them how to do this, and some of the other things that I teach throughout the book that will soon be released. So thank you for listening this far. Continue, please, and watch how I walked myself through my own stuck feeling using the Clear Inner Focus tool on a sheet of paper. When you get the link below, you'll see the sheet of paper and the 7 steps, which is to breathe. Bring your focus inside, and then ask yourself, what am I thinking and what am I feeling? And respond to yourself with self-love, no matter what you're doing. The 3rd step, breathe and accept what's right there. The 4th step, when you're ready, ask your heart, what do I want to be thinking and feeling and experiencing? What solution would I like to see? This step is tricky because a lot of times our mind starts going to, but what can I do about it? It's really important to not build a blueprint first, build a new mindset first, talk yourself down first. So when you take the step, you're taking it from your heart and soul, you're taking it authentically you. The 5th step is to imagine it. If it's not already feeling like a 3D high definition picture, imagine it. Is there anything in that picture that you don't like? Paint over it, expand it. More magical what ifs. I don't want this. Well, what if it was this? And then step 6 is to let go of all of the how-tos and ask your heart. Ask your own wisdom, your own knowing, your own intuition. What's one step I can take today? And the 7th step is hold yourself accountable to taking that step and seeing what comes from it. Just simply changing the momentum of going into the worked up thoughts and anchoring it down into your heart and soul's desires and that clear inner focus is powerful. But then when you take that power and move in the world with it, it changes the momentum of the course of things that have been reoccurring in your life for a long time. I've seen it happen for many people. So keep going, and we'll catch you on the end. Thanks. On a sheet of paper, you can do this. You can write down the things that you don't want to be thinking, feeling, or experiencing on the left side of the paper. If you're someone who likes to do things concretely and do things systematically and you want results, you're a systematic person. Some people, instead of looking at what they don't want to be thinking, feeling, or experiencing, they like to look down at the facts. All of the facts. All of the problems. what you do is you write them down on the paper, because they're thoughts, they're running around in you, and when you write them down long enough, you'll hear them, you'll be able to see them, and they'll start to disassemble. So here's what I don't want to be thinking, feeling, or experiencing. And the example I'd like to share with you is from my book, Flip Your Focus: How to Free Your Mind, Make Great Decisions, and Move Forward Effectively. And in this book, what I tell is I got to a point in the book where I was completely stuck. I had all kinds of negative thoughts and feelings sitting here inside me, and it was weighing me down so much I couldn't move forward. I sat there looking at the book. I knew I needed to do something. And what I was going to do is I was going to think of like, oh, how can I go help somebody else? How can I help my dog? How can I help my sister and buy her present? And what I needed to do was just look at this thought cluster and stop avoiding it. And what I looked at was what really mattered to me. The reason I was feeling those heavy feelings, my own out of flow feelings. What really mattered to me is I started to see what I was writing and thinking the thought, oh no, what if I'm not clear? And I didn't want the book to be unclear and confusing. As I breathed and I became aware of what I was thinking, feeling, and experiencing, I wrote down my thoughts, and then I named my feelings. When you name your feeling, scientifically it's been proven, it tames it. So I named the feeling. I was feeling frustrated, and I was feeling disappointed. I didn't want to be thinking, I want to be done and I'm not. As I'm doing this, I am controlling my response. I'm bringing the response of acceptance to all of these thoughts and feelings. We turned off the judge. I'm not judging myself for thinking this. I'm not judging myself where I'm at. I'm looking at it. I'm here because something really matters to me. And I'm just not clear on what that is yet. So when I respond with self-love, and I do my number one job and respond to myself with love in this manner, I can start to see all of this potential feelings, the frustration, the disappointment, and I can start to let them pass and move through me. Like that rain cloud just passes and rain moves down through me. Then, when I'm ready, when it feels like it's time, and sometimes it's not time yet, these emotions can feel like a bruise. They hurt, and it's not time to look at it yet. When it's time, I can do the next step, and I start asking my heart and my soul, what would I rather be thinking, feeling, or experiencing? Instead of thinking the thought, the book is unclear. What do I want? As soon as I do that, I can almost feel that magical wand, that magical what if. What do I want? And I can start feeling my motivation. I start feeling a whole lot better. What do I want? I want the book to be clear. I want it to make sense. I want people to be excited about it. I want to do my best and let my best be good enough. I want to be able to share this with more people. I want to be able to say it's done and I'm excited and it's finished and I love what I wrote. Instead of feeling confusion then, I'd feel excitement. I'd feel passion. I'd feel connected. I'd feel powerful. So when I write them down, what that does is it helps the energy of your motivation. It helps your patterns of thoughts change in your body. And when you breathe, you can actually feel those patterns, that life force coming through you. Instead of thinking the thought, I want to be done and I'm not, I want to be thinking the thought, I'm having fun writing it. and it's going to be done soon, and I'm going to love it. So after I looked at each thing on this side of the chart and built a new thought pattern, I did my powerful part in moving my own life forward, in listening to my passion, in listening to what was important to me in the moment. I took myself from the negative thoughts and feelings, the potential energy, disassembled it, transformed it to my heart and soul's desires and a clear inner focus. Now I know what I want and I feel so much better. For those of you that are emotionally sensitive, you might even feel right now a shift going on in you, because this is contagious. And the more we do this for ourselves, the more that burst of energy goes out towards other people. And this is how we can really influence other people too. But that's another level of this. The last step is, this isn't pie in the sky. It's not just get clear on what you want, la-di-da, do whatever. But now that I know what I want, now that I have this clear picture right here on the right side of my paper, I can take actions that are effective. The last step of the process, the next step of the process is to reread it. Engage your imagination and feel how good it feels. It is like planting that seed of what you want inside of you. It takes that pattern of feeling, oh no, thinking that thought and going into, oh no, what if, and going around into those negative feelings, and actually helps me now think that topic and go down into this clear inner focus picture. My imagination is activated. What would it feel like if I was able to be saying, I'm clear, my book makes sense, I'm excited about it, and I feel really powerful in a way that's helping other people. And I feel really connected with myself, with other people, and the life I want to be living. I had fun writing it. It got done really quickly, and it was so fun to share with the world. Wow, I have a clear focus. Now, whenever I think book, I can go there. I activate my love. I activate my light. And when I walk forward, it's easier to work with me. And if you can see my hands, it's easier to be open to receive more of what we want. The last step of the process is then to ask my heart, what's one step I can take in the direction of this clear desire? What's one step I can take in the direction of what really matters to me? Because that's how we move forward authentically. Sometimes your heart, your wisdom, your inner guidance, whatever you call that guiding part of you that just knows, will say your step is to ask someone else for help, to ask someone else for ideas. Sometimes your heart will give you the idea to just be patient. Sometimes it'll be reread this list and get clearer and clearer on what it is that you really want. Sometimes it'll be do this more. And sometimes the step will be get going. Make those thousands of phone calls you've been meaning to make now, but do it when you remember why you're making it, instead of getting lost in the negative thoughts and feelings. This process is how you can talk yourself down from negative thoughts and feelings into that clear inner focus, your passion, your motivation, and what matters to you. My step when I did this in writing the book was to use this very table and this very example in the book. And so it's there. This is the process. I have the free tool on my website. You can go on and I will share the link with you with this video. I'm not sure about what it is right now. And in it, you will get a PDF with fillable fields where you can walk through this tool. This tool is super simple, but it's not always easy at first. I give you an audio walkthrough where I remind you to stop and take some breaths and to respond to yourself with acceptance as you're doing the tool. You can't do the tool wrong. Just get started. And when you see the openings, keep going. When you notice new things happening, keep going. But it's like eating. We're always needing to transform our emotional energy. Please remember that if you find right now are really getting caught up in negative feeling thoughts and feelings, it's because something really matters to you and you just didn't know the how to transform those feelings and thoughts into a clear picture of your heart and soul's desires and get started. Do this on your own. Maybe get a friend and do it with you. Pick up my book, Flip Your Focus. How to free your mind, make great decisions, and move forward effectively. In it, when it's released very soon, very shortly, it will give you examples of how to redevelop patterns of suffering from anxiety. It will give you a few other tools, like how you can create really healthy boundaries. So you're really clear on what's yours, and you can keep other people's stuff out of your space, out of your, what I call, energy bubble. So you'll learn how to develop healthy boundaries. You'll learn how to practice self-care without worrying that you're being selfish. The book will also give you things like how to stop micromanaging or being a helicopter parent. And it will share things about personal earthquakes. You know, that time in life where all of a sudden something happens and your whole world gets rocked and you feel so vulnerable and it's hard to get over it. It'll explain a little bit more about that and tools on how to support yourself through it. The book comes with some online resources that are free, where after you learn how they're done, I tell stories about working with some of my clients and some of my coaches, and they're working with clients on these things. It'll make a lot more sense on how you can use these tools in your own life. And then I have a 12-week class that gives you the support, the feedback, the guidance you might need if you want to do this along with me, with some coaching and group coaching, and be inspired by classmates. Their stories are often stories that help us wiggle through some of the things we're not aware of in ourselves so that you can develop the habits you want to move through this powerfully. And lastly, if you're a leader of people, if you're passionate about helping people, I have a Clear Inner Focus life coach certification program where I teach these skills. I teach you how to listen to other people, how to respond to them so they can see themselves, and how they can start reconnecting with themselves in a bigger way, using those 4 things they can control to move forward more effectively, shortening that gap between stress and solutions so people can enjoy meaningful experiences and making a difference in the world with a lot more fun and ease. Thank you for being here with me on my webinar. I'm Patty Jackson. I'm the founder of Clear Inner Focus. Try this tool and maybe look around on my website, see if there's something that looks interesting to you, and set up a one-on-one phone call and I'll tell you more about what we do and how it works.